Have you ever sat in your room scrolling through social media, watching another engagement announcement, another couple's vacation photo, another "Forever Starts Today" post, and felt that familiar ache in your chest? You close the app, but the question stays. Why not me? You've done everything right. You've worked on yourself, you've prayed, you've trusted God's plan, but every door closes before you can even knock. Every potential connection fizzles out. Every "maybe this is the one" and turns into "not meant to be." And in the silence of another Friday night alone, you wonder if maybe there's something fundamentally wrong with you. But stop right there. Your singleness is not evidence of your inadequacy. It is not God's punishment. It is not proof that you're too broken to be loved. What if I told you that your singleness is actually God's most protective gift to you right now? A gift wrapped in loneliness, but filled with purpose. Today, I want to show you the real reason you're still single. And when you understand it, everything about this season will shift from feeling like abandonment to recognizing it as divine strategy. Let's dive in. 1. God is protecting you from connections that look right but lead wrong. Your singleness right now is a shield, not a sentence. Proverbs 4:23 warns us, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." God takes this seriously because He knows what you're still learning. The wrong person doesn't announce themselves as wrong. They show up looking exactly like what you've been praying for, speaking your love language, checking your boxes. But underneath the surface, they're pulling you away from your calling, dimming your light, reshaping you into someone you were never meant to become. You thought some of those past relationships were your answered prayers. But God saw the control masked as care, the possessiveness disguised as passion, the manipulation wrapped in compliments. He saw how they would slowly convince you to make yourself smaller, quieter, less of who He created you to be. So He intervened. What felt like heartbreak was actually a rescue mission. Look at how Samson's story unfolded. He thought Delilah was his destiny. She felt like the one. But that connection cost him his strength, his sight, his freedom. One wrong soul tie can derail everything God has planned for you. So when you look back at the doors that closed, stop seeing rejection. Start seeing protection. God loves you too much to let you settle into a beautiful prison. 2. God is establishing your worth in Him, not in someone else's validation. Before God can trust you with covenant love, He has to free you from the desperate need for it. Matthew 6:33 commands us to seek God's kingdom first, and then everything else gets added. But most people reverse the order. They seek relationship first, hoping it will make them feel close to God. And that creates dependency, not partnership. This season of singleness is God's detox program. He's weaning you off the addiction to external validation. He's teaching you that your value isn't determined by whether someone swipes right, texts back, or chooses you. Your value was set at Calvary. It's fixed, permanent, unshakable. When you internalize that truth, everything changes. You stop auditioning for love and start preparing to steward it. Think about David before he became king. He spent years in complete obscurity, alone with sheep, with only God as his audience. Those hidden years weren't wasted. They forged an identity so rooted in God that future palace living couldn't corrupt it. That's what this season is doing for you. God is building a foundation so solid that when love comes, it will enhance your life, not define it. You'll bring wholeness to the table, not hunger. 3. God is aligning your assignment before He introduces your partner. Jeremiah 29:11 promises that God has plans for you, plans for a future and a hope. Notice it's plural. Your life isn't just about finding the one. It's about fulfilling your divine assignment. And here's what most people miss. Not everyone can walk with you where God is taking you. Some people will love the small version of you, but resent the anointed version. Some will cheer for your gifts, but sabotage your growth. Some will celebrate your potential, but fear your power. God is keeping you single right now because your future partner needs to match the weight of your calling. You need someone who won't just tolerate your purpose, but will strengthen it. Someone who prays as hard as you do, fights as fiercely as you do, believes as boldly as you do. That person exists, but they're also being prepared while you're in your season of refinement. They're in theirs. And when God brings you together, it won't just be romance. It will be a kingdom alliance. Look at Ruth and Boaz. She was a widow with nothing. He was a landowner with everything. But their union wasn't about filling emotional voids. It was about fulfilling prophetic destiny. Their marriage became part of the lineage of Jesus Christ. That's what God is orchestrating for you, not just compatibility, but kingdom impact. 4. God is training your discernment to spot counterfeit love. Genesis 2:18 says, "It's not good to be alone." But God never said to settle for just anybody to avoid loneliness. The enemy understands your desire for companionship, and he will absolutely send imposters to distract you from the real thing. That's why this waiting season is critical. God is sharpening your spiritual senses. He's teaching you the difference between chemistry and character, between attraction and alignment, between someone who excites you and someone who edifies you. So many people confuse intensity with intimacy. The relationship feels consuming, so they assume it must be God. But fire isn't always holy. Sometimes it's just destructive. Real love doesn't demand you sacrifice your peace for passion. It doesn't require you to silence your convictions to keep the connection. It doesn't ask you to betray who God made you to be to become who they want you to be. This season is teaching you to value peace over thrills, to choose alignment over attraction, to recognize that true companionship strengthens your walk with God instead of competing with it. When the right person finally comes, you won't have to convince yourself they're right. You won't have to ignore red flags or make excuses for their behavior. You'll simply know because your discernment, sharpened in this season of waiting, will confirm what your heart feels. 5. God is orchestrating timing that will make your testimony undeniable. Ecclesiastes 3:11 declares, "He has made everything beautiful in His time." The emphasis is on His time, not yours. And right now, you may feel like His timing is painfully slow. Everyone else seems to be moving forward while you're stuck in the waiting room. But what you call delay, heaven calls setup. What you call loneliness, God calls preparation. What you call a closed door, God calls protection from the wrong path. Abraham and Sarah waited 25 years for their promised son. 25 years of disappointment, doubt, and questioning God's faithfulness. But when Isaac finally arrived, his birth was so miraculous that it could only be attributed to God. The long wait created an undeniable testimony. Your story is being written the same way. When God finally brings that person into your life, it will happen so clearly, so perfectly, so supernaturally, that everyone watching will know this was God's doing. The timing will silence every doubt. The alignment will confirm every prayer. And you'll finally understand why every previous relationship had to end, why every door had to close, why every heartbreak had to happen. It was all clearing the path for this. Beloved, hear my heart. Your singleness is not a sign of rejection. It is evidence of selection. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not running out of time. You are being meticulously prepared for a love that reflects God's covenant, not the world's compromise. This waiting season is not empty time. It is sacred ground where God is healing your wounds, refining your character, establishing your identity, and aligning your destiny. Sometimes what feels like loneliness is God drawing you closer. Sometimes what feels like delay is divine orchestration you can't yet see. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually God protecting you from settling. And when His timing finally arrives, He won't just send you a partner. He'll send you someone who sees you the way He sees you, loves you the way He loves you, and walks with you toward the purpose He's already planted in you. Because God's love stories aren't just about romance. They're about redemption, testimony, and kingdom advancement. So stop despising this season. Stop comparing your timeline to others. Stop believing the lie that you're somehow less because you're still waiting. In God's economy, you are right on schedule. And when He moves, it will be beautiful, perfect, and worth every lonely night you endured to get there. So declare this today: I trust God's timing more than my feelings. Your story is not ending in singleness. It's unfolding into testimony. You are loved beyond measure, chosen with intention, and preserved for something extraordinary. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Keep walking in faith. What God has for you is worth the wait. God bless you.